see if I don't fall. If I fall, you're allowed to laugh. So, hello and welcome to our next lesson of this Holy Week. And in your packet, you have a lesson, something similar to this that says, let's see if I pronounce it correctly, Maunday, Thursday. If I didn't pronounce it correctly, sorry. So this Maunday, Thursday is another event that happened while Jesus was in Jerusalem. Remember last class that we talked about his awesome triumphal entry and people with palm trees cheering and receiving him and proclaiming him king? Well, this happened a few days after. But before I continue, and this is important to know because every single Sunday when we gather, we remember what happened that evening. And I'm going to talk about that in a little while. So we need to understand that when this happened, Jesus had been for a few months and maybe like a year or a few years talking to the people and teaching them and with great stories that we talk about in Sunday school and in church. But some of the things and good things like teaching good things like loving your neighbor as Jesus loves you. But some of the things that Jesus taught, some people didn't like. Some adults didn't like, and they were afraid of losing power or losing importance or maybe richness. If people started following all the things that Jesus was saying. And they didn't like Jesus that much. We like Jesus, but some people didn't like Jesus. And when he came into Jerusalem and people started proclaiming him king, there was already a king. So there were a lot of people that were upset about this, and they didn't like Jesus. So they wanted to kill Jesus because of the things that he said that they didn't like, because people were making him too important, people were proclaiming him king, and some people didn't like that, and some people with power. So they wanted to get rid of Jesus. They wanted to kill Jesus. Well, we're going to talk about that in our next lesson, but today we're going to talk about the night before Jesus give us the greatest of gifts. And I'm not going to talk about that now. We're going to talk about it in our next lesson. Today is what happened on Thursday during that week. So to do that, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to read the story. And in every page, I am going to stop and I'm going to tell you about what the story is telling us, okay? So the story is called Quite a Night. Step by step, they climbed the stairs with all their questions, hopes, and cares. Jesus led his 12 dear friends down a hall around some bends. So the Jewish people, and Jesus was Jewish, on that Thursday, they had a big holiday called the Passover. And the way they celebrated the Passover was with a big feast, okay? And Jesus was telling his disciples that they needed to prep for this feast. So they bought at the market. They purchased. They went to the market and purchased meat and all the things that they needed to celebrate Passover properly and to have a big meal, because that's one of the things that happened during the celebration of Passover. By the way, Passover is a Jewish celebration remembering when Moses took the people, the Hebrew people that were enslaved in Egypt, and they were liberated, basically. So they had all this preparation, and at night during that Thursday, they were going to go to this room that Jesus had already separated or put aside, and they were going to have that dinner. Well, this dinner ends up being the last dinner that Jesus shared with his friends, and that's why we call it the Last Supper. So they arrived to this room that looks something like this. This is a room and food all around and a big table with a fire and his disciples and Jesus at the center. That's cool, right? So let's continue. He knelt and washed their feet. All sat down, ate grapes, chewed meat. Then he stood and took some bread, held the loaf above his head. So they were eating, and after they ate, he did this. He was sitting at the center of the table, and he takes the bread and gives thanks. The same he does with the wine. After he blessed the bread, he broke it, and he gave it to every single one of the people around the table. And the same he did with the wine. He blessed the wine, and he started giving from the cup, wine from the cup, to every single one of his disciples around the table. I do something similar at church because we remember, like I told you, we remember this event every single Sunday at church. And we're going to do it on Thursday. So I have something like this, and this has wine. This is empty right now, but I put wine here, and there's not a piece of bread. Usually they're like wafers, but they are made out of wheat, which is the same thing that bread is made of. And I say the words or similar words that Jesus said that day. And I say, the night in which he was betrayed, he meaning Jesus, he took bread, and I lifted up, maybe like Jesus did. He took bread, gave thanks, broke it, and gave it to his disciples, saying, "Take and eat. This is my body given for you. Do this for the remembrance of me." So they could remember him. After supper, I continue saying, after supper, he took the cup, gave thanks, and gave it for all to drink, saying, "This cup is the new covenant," or the new agreement, the new covenant for all people, the new covenant in my blood, new covenant in my blood, shed for all people for the forgiveness of sin. Do this in remembrance of me. This is like falling. I don't want to fall. Okay, so I am going to talk about what I just said tomorrow also on our next lesson. But let's continue the story. Friends, from now on, Jesus is saying, friends, from now on, when you see bread and wine, remember me. These are my gifts for you to keep. They show you that my love runs deep. Jesus knelt. Oh, no. The story continues. Step by step, back down the stairs, filled with bread and wine and prayers, Jesus guided lovingly and led them to Gethsemane. Again, he knelt, this time to pray. Jesus asked his friends to stay, and one request of them did make. Sit with me and stay awake. So after dinner and after prayer and good conversation, Jesus took a group of his friends and they went to the garden outside, which is called Gethsemane. And Jesus wanted to pray. Jesus knew that his time on earth was running short, and he was about to do what God sent him to do. And he was afraid because Jesus was going to die for us. So Jesus was afraid. Just like I would have been afraid if I know that I'm going to die soon. So Jesus was afraid, and Jesus wanted to pray. Because sometimes when we're afraid, we just want to pray and try to find peace. But Jesus didn't want to be alone. Sometimes when you're afraid, and sometimes when I'm afraid, we want to be with people around us. Just like when we're sick, sometimes we want to be with our mom and dad near them because we want to feel loved and we want to feel that people are with us. We're not alone. Well, the same thing Jesus felt. And he wanted to pray. And he asked his friends to stay there and also pray with him. Heavy eyelids, muscles sore. Jesus' friends began to snore. Jesus roused them with a shake, begged them, friends, please stay awake. As he was praying, the disciples were tired. It had been a long day, and they started to fall asleep, and Jesus woke them. I need you to be awake and keep praying with me. Twice more, they began to doze. Jesus sighed and then arose. Time to go. The end is near. Time to move away from here. So Jesus told them he was done praying, and he told them, well, let's go. Well, they yawned and stretched and rubbed their eyes and started to apologize because they fell asleep. But Jesus knew it was too late. Soldiers waited at the gate. They jumped and ready for a fight. They jumped up and ready for a fight, Jesus said. No, it's all right. This is what I need to do. But I will always be with you. So, one of his disciples, his name was Judas Iscariot. Judah went to the police, to the authorities, and told them where Jesus was so they could come and get him. And he was given 30 silver coins. Can you see where they're at here? Look, they're right here. 30 silver coins. And Judas was right. When the police came and found Jesus, they took him with them. And the disciples didn't know what was going on, and they just wanted to fight. They weren't going to let the police take Jesus. But Jesus said, no, 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 no. I don't want you to fight. That's fine. It's okay. I'll always be with you. Jesus knew. And that's what we remember, or what we are going to be remembering this Thursday. Our next lesson is going to be about Good Friday, and I'll tell you more about that when we meet again. The craft. So you got something like a trifold thing, and it has circles, right? And every circle is a scene from today's story. Well, you're gonna color, first of all, you're gonna color the circle that has the cup, similar to this one, and the one that has the bread. After you color it, you are gonna get a scissor. I don't have a scissor here with me, but you're gonna get a scissor. Oh my God, this table. And you're gonna cut all the circles, right? And we are gonna put them in order, but you know what you're gonna do? And obviously, they are like, they have like a blue circle in it. We had a few weeks ago, we had a craft similar to that one. If you have something like this in your house, this is a punch, like a hole puncher or whatever. It makes holes. If you have one of these, you can use them. You can use one. But if not, you can use like a pointy scissor or a pen, and you can just like put a hole through it. And we're going to put them in order. But we're also going to put them, as we put them in order, we're going to put this thread that you have in your packet, and we're going to build like a necklace so we can remember this story. And the first one is Jesus blessed children, Jesus blessed grown-ups. And we put it here. And then we go to the next scene, which is the one that says, oops, no, not this one. Oh, this one. Jesus healed children. Jesus healed grown-ups. And we are going to put them, oh, so you're getting the idea. The next one is number 3, which is Jesus held up the bread. Jesus said, eat. That's the next one. And the following is Jesus held up the cup. Jesus said, drink. That's our next one. Okay. And the next one is Jesus prayed with his friends. Jesus went to the garden with his friends. Oh. The next one. Jesus' friends fell asleep. Jesus said, wake up. The next one is, Jesus said to them, I am deeply grieved. Grieved is like sad. Even to death, remain here and stay awake with me. Okay. This could be a little bit tricky, just putting the yarn. And the last one. Judas told soldiers where to find Jesus. Soldiers came to take Jesus. So this story will continue. But before we close this, oh, let me tell you, after you have this, see? Ah, ah. After you have your necklace, you are gonna tie a knot around your neck, ask your dad or your mom or someone else to help you. And you're gonna have the whole story here with you, so you never forget, okay? And now we are gonna close with a prayer. Pray after me. Dear God, thank you for always saving room for us by your side. We want to be there because we love you. Help us stick close to you in good times and in bad. Amen. See you soon.